to the episode 11 Reality Podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valera. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about Lego Masters Season 5, Episode 2. Season 5 kicked off last week with a huge build of Star Wars. It was a hit and miss episode for a lot of you guys. I saw a lot of you in the comments, but yeah, we're back for Episode 2 here on this holiday. This week, our team of Lego fanatics are tasked with building an outstanding wedding cake for some adorable Lego minifigures who are about to get married. To kick off the big day, each team will randomly select a ring box, which will hold a minifigure couple who they must take to make their wedding cake for. With only 4 hours to build, the teams must speak now or forever hold their peace in the all-new wedding cake episode of Lego Masters. The show airs weekly at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox and is available to stream the following day on Hulu. All right, that being said, we have our teams. We have 11 teams. One team was eliminated. Nick and Kendall, the brother-sister combo from Carmichael, I think it was California, were eliminated in week 1. This week, we had a fun little competition here. The crew will be making, obviously, like I said, wedding cakes. The judges said they're looking for colossal cakes along with good-looking, tasty cakes. The teams only have 4 hours to build the cakes, and the team with the tallest cake will be saved from elimination. There was an interesting little twist here. As they pick the ring boxes, they are going to be paired with the other team on the show. So we have 5 total teams here. We have Alex and Tone teaming up with Marcella and Krista. Sage and Ian teaming up with Ben and Michael. I definitely thought it was interesting how these two got mixed together after being the top 2 last week. Corey and Rebecca's team with Anthony and Joe. Nikki and Britton's team with John and Justin. Anna and Luke's team with Maya and Jamie. We have another twist. They have to close, as they're building the challenges, about mid-challenge, they close the brick pit in 5 minutes, and you have to get all of the stuff to build the cake throughout the show, and they couldn't go back and forth into the brick pit. They go in there and get the pieces that they need, so they had to come out and get what they needed from this week's episode. All right, so what I decided to do was change it up a little bit, talking about which build my favorite is. However, I give each score to each team. Each week, I'm going to give a score of on a scale of 1 to 10 of which ones that I like. So kicking off, Alex and Tone were first. They teamed up with Marcella and Krista. They built the corn on the cob and carrot guy. They built the guy from the ground up on how they thought they met all the way through the proposal. It was quite adorable. And I thought that the build was good. I liked it, but I didn't love it. I gave this one a 6 out of 10. And there was a few things to me that I just didn't really feel. There's only one cake on here that or one design that I really liked, but I didn't feel wedding cake from most of the competitors. And it kind of shocked me. Like, I know a lot of you guys expressed some issues with first week's episode and didn't feel like there was like a lot of pizzazz from that episode. So it's going to be interesting to see if you guys feel the same way after this episode. But Sage and Ian teamed with Ben and Michael. As I said, the Royal Guard and the Aristocat was their wedding couple. I really liked the build, but I didn't feel like a wedding cake. The details were top notch, but again, super underwhelming for me. And it's kind of crazy because like our top 2 teams combining together, you would expect maybe something a little bit better from this team. Corey and Rebecca and Anthony and Joe, they had the zoologist and scientist wedding. Again, it just kind of, this one, I'm going to be honest with you guys, it kind of looked ugly to me. I didn't like it. I wasn't a fan. I was very underwhelmed by theirs. And like, to me, like easily the bottom 2 so far. Like we're 3 teams in, 3 pairs in, easily. I gave this one a 5 out of 10. And I think that was a generous 5 out of 10 for me. Nikki and Britton team with John and Justin. Fairy Captain and the Ice Queen. This, to me, best build of the entire thing. I thought it was unique. I thought it was vibrant. I thought it was creative, top to bottom. Again, I will say this. Like, I gave them an 8 out of 10, but it might be close to like a 7 out of 10 because to me personally, again, one of the biggest issues I had was the simple fact that I didn't feel cake vibe from this episode. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was just me. Anne and Luke team with Maya and Jamie, T-Rex fan and cardboard. Tall, bright, vibrant, did well. Also very underwhelming. They won because of the tallest. They were like the tallest. But again, none of these really popped off to me as wedding cake vibes. I like building the story. I like the things that they try to do. But ultimately, they all fell short of feeling like wedding cakes. All right. The winning team, no shock to me. The winning team this week, Nikki, Britton, John, and Justin. Personally, my highest rated build of the week. Not really surprised that they won. The bottom two, also not really surprised by this one either. We had Corey and Rebecca. Again, look, if we're going to be completely honest, we find out that there's no eliminations in this week's episode. By far, if this would have been a double elimination or a single elimination, I don't know how they would have done it. By far, Corey, Rebecca, Anthony, and Joe would have 1,000% went home. Like, it was god awful what they built. I still just, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. It was very kind of underwhelming this week. These builds were underwhelming. I didn't feel very excited about this episode as I was hoping I would be. But that being said, I did like what we saw out of the top team of this week's episode, Nikki and Britton and John and Justin. Let me know what you guys think of this week's episode. Did you find it a little bit underwhelming? Did you kind of expect a no elimination just based on the teaming or the pairing? But for me, hopefully next week's episode maybe brings a little spunk to the thing, because I think that this next week's episode, I already know what it is. I already know what's happening next week's episode. I really, 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 really enjoyed this next week's episode. So I think episode 3 is where the series season 5 is going to take off. But that being said, let me know what your favorite build in the comments below. Who thinks favorite right now to win this show, season 5? Thank you guys so much for tuning into another episode of the Love and Reality Podcast. I will be back very